This is the June 29th through July 13th financial astrology forecast. This starts with a powerful full moon on June 29th alongside Mercury stationing retrograde, setting this tone for a shifting sentiment, revised expectations across the crypto and financial markets. July 1st, Jupiter will enter Leo, and this will ignite a deeper backdrop building up to one of the rarest astrological configurations called the Barbalt Belt. This is widely viewed as a highly significant, rare, and transformational period for global humanity, pointing towards major societal reorganization, renewal, and potential relaunch of civilization. So let's break this down to see what it means for crypto markets. I will be doing a live stream on Monday, June 29th, the day of the full moon, to answer any questions you may have about this forecast and to watch the markets react to this full moon and Mercury retrograde. So please come and join. June 29th, full moon is in Capricorn at 8 degrees. Saturn is the ruler of this moon, and it's squaring to Neptune and it's squaring to Saturn. This is significant because Saturn rules Bitcoin's chart and Neptune rules New York Stock Exchange's chart. New York Stock Exchange's midhaven. Very significant that this is happening. And I believe this is going to challenge these markets. Neptune will station retrograde July the 7th. Uranus and Mars will be squaring this north node. Mars is at 0 degrees, which is very significant. Mercury will also be retrograde the day that the full moon happens, causing chaos, confusion, uncertainty, fear, and doubt, and Jupiter is at 29 degrees. What is this Barbalt basket? This refers to a specific planetary configuration in astrology identified by the renowned French astrologer André Barbalt. It occurs on all the outer planets grouped together to form a basket shape across the zodiac wheel. It's considered highly significant and very, very rare. It's a transformational period for global humanity, societal reorganization, and renewal. He describes this period as a potential relaunch of civilizations. July 15th through the 26th is when these transits become tightly synchronized in the sky. The themes around this is long-term civilization shifts, Neptune sextile Pluto, global reorganization, marks a fundamental reorganization of the collective and a monumental turning point rather than a sudden utopian peace. So there's a bit of upheaval during these changes. Uranus trine Pluto, it's technological, social transformation. It's a period that brings massive technological advancements, which we can see happening now, and shifts in the workplace. There's power and ideology shifts. The era involves major power struggles over resources, currency, trade, alongside efforts by the public to demand transparency to reshape global economic order. Jupiter opposite to Pluto, this is the struggle of who controls emerging systems and corruption being exposed. Jupiter is activating this pattern. Jupiter's expansion, its visibility, growth, power versus control, with that Pluto and Jupiter opposition, visibility of corruption. And Saturn and Neptune, when they were conjunct in Aries at 0 degrees, marked the turning point of turning ideals into actions and rebuilding systems after the dissolution. This configuration, July the 1st, I feel we're going to start to feel the effects growing stronger and stronger. Anything that I say in this report, starting in July when Jupiter enters into Leo, might not come to fruition, meaning this Barbalt basket energy and configuration could take hold of the market and move it in a direction, a specific direction, many directions, unexpected directions due to this configuration. If there's positive transits I'm talking about and they don't come to fruition because it's strongly negative, that is one of the reasons why, and vice versa. If it's extremely positive and there's some challenging things going on, they might not come to fruition due to this Barbalt basket. This is very strong. I do not know exactly how it will influence the markets. The positive transits happening with Jupiter, Uranus, Pluto, Neptune usually would signal a very bullish type of market. But with Pluto opposite to Jupiter, that is a strong signal of market corrections, market fallouts. Mars is next to Uranus, unexpected, extremely unexpected events occurring, volatility, price movements happening. Mars square this Uranus. Mars and Uranus squaring the North Node also are signaling high tensions. During this configuration, only Uranus will be squaring to this North Node. But again, that's a sudden change of direction, change of movement, unexpected prices. But this Jupiter opposite to Pluto is really why I'm feeling that this could be a very challenged time for the markets during this July. But I will do more research on this. For now, Mercury retrograde during the full moon is signaling chaos, challenges, unexpected prices, unexpected movement, retracing, reevaluating the markets. Moon squaring to Saturn, Moon squaring Neptune is also a signal of challenges during these 2 weeks because those are very important planets in Bitcoin and New York Stock Exchange's charts. Something else to take note of is when there are planets at 4 degrees, transiting planets at 4 degrees aspecting the natal charts of Bitcoin or New York Stock Exchange, this will be something to really pay attention to. And we should watch for trends of whether these are positive or negative and how they play out, because these are also activating this configuration, that Balter's configuration. So that could also be a clue of how this transit and time period in mid-July could play out. How much does the market move? What is its behavior? News will extremely influence this period, all of July. I'm looking at this full moon period right now, but all of July, news will highly be influential. Especially, we also have Mars and Uranus conjunct each other. That could be fighting, rising tensions, rising fighting, large-scale fighting. Big events, large events. Events that we have not ever seen before is something that is more than likely going to happen, and that will also influence the markets. And again, if I'm speaking of a transit that's happening and supposed to be really positive, say, and something occurs globally or geopolitically or in some other country, that could definitely influence the markets. And the transits that are playing out that I'm speaking of might not be coming to fruition because of these transits. And especially Mars and Uranus as well, and Mercury retrograde. Moving on to Bitcoin. In the general transits, the full moon is squaring to Saturn. Saturn is the ruler of the ascendant, so it's a ruler of the chart. And I apologize for this picture being a little blurry. So right there, that's a challenge. Saturn is still squaring the sun, so we're going to continue to see this very challenged market as we have been seeing since this new moon back in June 14th and even before that. But we're going to continue to see these challenges, I feel, until Saturn is not squaring to the sun. The moon is next to Bitcoin's Mars. Mars is action in the markets. It makes things move. This could, at periods, we could have strong increased prices, but also strong decreased prices. So this is just something to know and to watch. All of a sudden, the market could just start to move up, but then very quickly turn around and move down. And we have seen that since this new moon. But with Saturn squaring the sun, I feel this is just going to be a challenge, and this could be signaling pushing the prices down, sudden, strong downtrends at times. Uranus and Pluto, they're at 4 degrees, sextiling Bitcoin's moon at 4 degrees during this. Now, Uranus sextiled Bitcoin's moon, be exact, July the 7th. And that I see as something pretty positive. So let me backtrack that. Mars here next to this moon during the full moon, we could have strong periods of price increasing, but also these strong periods of price decreasing. It's going to be sudden and unexpected with Uranus sextile to Bitcoin's moon. Suddenly, it'll increase up out of nowhere, but also suddenly it could decrease downwards out of nowhere. It's unexpected price action. But this 4 degrees, I think, is the most important to note, that how this Uranus sextiling Bitcoin's moon plays out, again, could be a key, an indicator, a clue of how this mid-July transits could unfold with the markets. Okay, I have this note here, Venus opposite Bitcoin's Venus. That is not true during this full moon. Mars is squaring to Bitcoin's Venus. That is a challenge because Venus rules the midhaven. So day of the full moon, I see this as a challenge. July the 1st, Jupiter will square to Chiron. That is challenging. I do feel that that's going to also influence this full moon along with this Mercury retrograde. July the 2nd, in Bitcoin's chart, Mars will trine to Mercury. Venus will be opposite to Bitcoin's Neptune. In the general transits, Venus trine Lilith and Mars squaring this north node. June 29th, June 30th, 1st, 2nd, I feel is going to be very challenging due to Jupiter square Chiron, Mars squaring this north node. Yes, there's positive Mars trine to Bitcoin's Mercury, which is a positive. We could have a positive period during July the 2nd. As I said, with Mars next to Uranus during this full moon, it's sudden unexpected increase, sudden unexpected decrease. And I feel we could have a short burst of this positive momentum happening on July the 2nd. But overall, June 29th through July the 3rd, I would say expect overall challenged momentum. July the 4th and July the 5th. I have here that it could be overall negative because the sun is opposite to the sun. It's exact on the 5th, but the energy is building on the 4th. So I feel that this is going to be more over than anything else. On the 4th, Mars will sextile Bitcoin's moon. And on the 4th, we also have Mars next to Uranus and Mars sextile to Neptune at 4 degrees. That's definitely a transit to watch. It happens more in the evening. But Mars conjunct Uranus, that sudden, unexpected price strong movement, along with this Mars sextile the sun. This could have a period of the day that's really, really strongly positive, sudden, unexpected long green candles within the market. That's really a possibility. Sun opposite the sun, I feel like could outshine all of that and have overall negative momentum on the 4th and especially this 5th. But on the 4th, I'm going to say that there's going to be a period when the market suddenly moves very strongly. And what could happen is we have more of the first half of the day, the market suddenly moves very strongly positive. And then the second half of the day, it takes a sudden change, a sudden turn and moves strongly negative. And I would say strongly negative because that sun opposite to Bitcoin sun. The 6th, there's no transits. But on the 7th, we have Uranus sextile to Bitcoin's moon at 4 degrees. This is another day to watch to see how the market moves. Positive, negative, however it moves, it could be some sort of indicator for this upcoming mid-July transits. This transit will influence the 6th. So if it's going to be very positive, it's going to be very positive and strongly positive, the 6th and especially the 7th. It's an outer planet transit, and usually there's 2 or 3 days before and 2 or 3 days afterwards the transit lasts for. With the sun opposite to the sun, I feel like that is not going to influence the 5th. Just know in the back of your head, it could influence the 5th and make this positive, more of a positive transit than negative. But I feel that this Uranus sextile the moon will be strongest seen or just seen on the July the 6th and July the 7th. The 9th, though, Venus will be opposite to Bitcoin's Venus. Okay, hold on. I have my note here saying that the 7th could be possibly volatile because of Sun opposite to natal Sun and Venus opposite to natal Venus. So there could be some volatility on the 7th due to the Sun opposite to the Sun still, in opposition to natal Venus. July the 8th here, I also have a note. July the 8th, there's no transits. So Venus will be at 29 degrees and it'll be squaring to Uranus in the general transits. On the 8th, which I don't have the chart here, Venus will be coming into that opposition to natal Venus. Unexpected headlines could force abrupt decision-making, pullbacks, false breakouts, value shock. because Venus and Uranus are sharp rallies, whether it's positive, whether it's challenging. With Venus opposite to natal Venus, I feel this could be the more pullbacks. Could be false breakouts too, but I feel it's going to be more breakdowns than breakups. Sharp sell-offs, violent short squeezes, long-term liquidations. So July the 8th could cut short this Uranus sextile Bitcoin's moon because Venus is extremely important in the chart. It's at 29 degrees. The planet's at 29 degrees. Venus is not an outer planet, but Venus is very important with trading, with markets. So this could be a very volatile day, a very challenged day, very chaotic market. July the 9th is when Venus is opposite Venus. I see this as a challenge. I do see this as a challenge. The moon will be trying to Bitcoin's sun, which is very positive. So they could have moments of positive momentum, but I feel that that's not going to be long-lived. There'll be some green candles in the market. It'll be very short-term. Venus opposite natal Venus will take over, and I feel this is going to just be a very strong, fearful day. That was the 9th. Now we have the 12th. We have the 10th, 11th, and 12th. July the 10th, Venus will be trying to Bitcoin's Pluto. July the 10th, we could see a change of trend because Mercury will be at the closest distance, the minimum distance from the Earth. And that has been proven to show a change in the trend of the market. So however it's moving, whether it's positive or negative, look for a change of trend July the 10th, beginning to move up or move down, however it is moving. Now that doesn't last for months and months and months. It just to show that there's a change of trend, whether it's for a day or 2 days, there's a change of trend within the market. On the 11th though, we have Sun trine Bitcoin's Uranus. That is positive, but I don't feel that it's going to be extremely positive. On the 12th, Jupiter will be opposite to Bitcoin's Mercury. That is a challenge. And those transits Jupiter transits manifest earlier than the exact date. And that could be manifesting the 11th and even the 10th, tied in that Venus opposite to natal Venus, and that could really be a challenge. So I'm not sure how this change of trend will play out because of these outer planet transits that are happening during this period. It could even just be a day that is a change of trend, meaning if it's negative due to this Venus opposite the Venus, on the 10th it could change, become positive. And then the 11th and the 12th change back to negative due to Jupiter opposite to Mercury. July the 13th is the day before the new moon in July. In Bitcoin's chart, there are no transits occurring or even the general transits. So this could be a continuation of Jupiter opposite to natal Mercury. One thing I do want to preface that I didn't say in the beginning is these last few days I have felt like I have to do a million things and go, and I can't keep up. Very all over the place, very chaotic I'm feeling. That could be also energies of this last 2 weeks, that everything's just moving so quickly, and that you just cannot even keep up. Whether you have something to do or not, just this I have to get something done energy, this panicked almost energy. And I'm saying that because I've been looking at these charts for the past few days, researching, trying to put this information together, and this is how I've been feeling. So it's just something to keep in mind. That's all I have. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please join me for my live stream that I'm having on Monday, June 29th, the day of this full moon, to answer any questions and to go over things that maybe I might have missed. Recording this video, because I'm recording it on June the 27th, June the 28th. And if you'd like an astrology reading to look to see how this new moon could affect you, or even the transits happening in July, those outer transits, that basket formation occurring, these are long-term transformational energies. See how you could be transforming. My link is in the description below. I would love to look at your chart with you and help you on your life's journey. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, and share.